Hello everyone, Shiv here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fractured Space. This is a new game that I've discovered on Steam. It's only been in early alpha access for a little bit here. So the basic premise of the game is you get big ships and battle against other people with them. Now initially I was thinking, oh, this is going to be like World of Tanks but with big spaceships and whatnot. And in some ways it is, and in other ways it isn't. It's more akin to a MOBA meets World of Tanks, is the best way I could put it, except for three-dimensionality and movement. So it's extremely cool, it's very interesting, I like it. The controls have been relatively simplified down. Yeah, you got your left click, primary, your right click is your secondary, which is normally a defensive thing for the most part as I've been playing around. The mouse wheel allows you to zoom. Clicking the mouse wheel itself will go into a zoom mode automatically, like boom, which is really nifty for some of the ships. But the basic premise is there's 5 sectors. All right. And what you do is mostly the middle sector is uncapturable for the most part. You will have to go through it, and there are some battles that will happen there. But most of this is going to focus on alpha and beta. And the other 2 sectors are Team Base 1 and Team Base 2. One is obviously your side, and the other is your opponent's. The idea is to basically create enough influence on your opponent's side and just win. Now, there's many ways you could do this. Most notable is just capturing resources to help build up, which will open up your ability to go through and get a lot more resources to allow other things to happen. And this helps in upgrading your ships. See, unlike a traditional MOBA, there's no creeps to generate through here. There are kind of lanes in its own unique sort of way, but not like your traditional MOBA. But some of the ships do act a lot like your traditional MOBA classes and characters. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Alright, so you got the sniper. Alright, so here's the sniper. Unfortunately, these ships are super huge. Even if I had a bigger monitor, it'd still be kind of crunched. This right here and this right here are very long-range guns. And they're actually called long-range cannons. And then you have a railgun, which has a really cool effect. And then you have the very long range. Apparently, this is even longer than the longer range. So this kind of acts like, you know, a hard hitter from distance, as you would normally see in some MOBAs. The ship, unfortunately, has great offensive potential, crap for defense. So if you get up close to it, you can knock the crap out of it. Its mobility is relatively decent, but not all of that great. But definitely, its main armament, which is this LFR cannon, pretty much going to do you a lot of good. You have the ability of marking targets, which causes like a bonus per se. I've yet to actually play this, but just going over what I know of the classes and why mark target might actually be good. Shield helps, you know, prevent incoming damage because you are pretty much shitted on up close and personal. Missiles, this is a secondary attack that you can use. It's an ability attack. It's it gives you like some in-between fire because your big cannon's only like a 1 and then you got to wait for it to recharge. Where this, you know, is another thing you can fill in there. So this is pretty much going to be used a lot throughout a lot of different classes in this game. Spotter drone, hey, lets me know that there's shit nearby. It also makes my shooting a little bit more accurate in theory. And well, your engines allow you to move and turn. Alright, so now let's go over to the interesting carrier class, which for all intents and purposes acts very much like a damage over time spec that you would normally see in a MOBA, but not entirely. So you're able to disable them and jam some of their stuff, so you're definitely a debuffer. You have these swarms of little fighters that are going to come out and start messing up stuff. You have your traditional missiles that you find on every ship. There's only one upgrade here, and that is for the photonic charges. These things look really cool as shit when they hit, by the way. If you just choose the regular flak, it looks really cool too. If you ever watched the remake of the Battlestar Galactica, when they were putting up that flak fire, very similar, just way graphically more impressive. So yeah, this is very much a debuffing class as well as a kind of like an annoyance damage thing. But it's also very hard to kill. They have a lot of defense. Their overall offense isn't very good. This is definitely a tank type class. Alright. The Assassin, yes, because every MOBA-esque type game needs a juggler, and that is exactly what the Assassin is. He is a ganker, he can be a great juggler, do a lot of really nifty things, and really screw you up. So let's go over this. Alright, rockets. These are very short-ranged. They kind of suck. But up close and personal, they hurt really good. If you actually have the heavy rockets, they hurt tremendously, and this plays very well with what you're doing. Plasma cannon's kind of like an in-between. It's not all that good. It's not all that great. It's a nice option, but in all honesty, you're always going to want to go with the heavy rocket. Plain and simple. Ambush. This is your interesting thing. You use this while you're cloaked. You get up close to your opponent. You hit ambush. The moment you hit that, you come out of cloak, boom, none of their defenses are up, so basically shields are down, Scotty, and you just unleash hell on them. You unload heavy rockets and go for broke. Now, you only have one main attack with this. You don't even have a secondary here. Like, notice there's no other missiles, just rockets, that's it. So it's pretty much hit, get away, cloak, come back, hit, get away, cloak. Alright. So, cloak, obviously, because, you know, can't be a ganker unless you can cloak. Blink to target. This is really interesting. This game uses, like, folding space kind of mechanic to go from point A to point B almost instantaneously. It could be called warp or whatever. So what blink to target does is, in the sector that you're in, you can actually get really close to your target, like almost right on top of them, to where the short range of your rockets is no longer an issue. And this is very effective. These guys basically can wipe out some of the heaviest ships in the game. You use this against snipers, and they just go to crap. Alright. Decoy drone. Alright, so there's cooldowns on a lot of stuff, especially cloak and this, that, and the other. So sometimes you're going to have to use the terrain to your advantage. Going behind like a large planetoid type asteroid and all that will break line of sight and their targeting of you. At that point, dropping a decoy and then, you know, trying to veer off in a totally different direction, and then they'll start shooting at your decoy thinking it's you, and oh, look at that, that bought you just enough time to get into cloak again and, you know, set up for the next attack. So that's cool. Now, there's actually a couple things here. There's a jump decoy that makes it seem like you're jumping. I'm unsure about the shield decoy. I haven't played with this yet, so, but definitely lots of fun in this class. But it's a finesse class, all right? While it is a ganking class, yeah, it's going to take time to master this. But once you master this, you can really do some horrendous damage to everybody. All right, Disruptor. That's a pretty ship. All right, so blasters. These are kind of like a little bit better than cannons, but not by much, to be perfectly honest with you. They're close to medium. The damage is okay, but not great. Faster blasters actually increases reload. Ripple blaster is actually kind of funny when you see it happen, so check that out. Alright, so what does this do? This is a massive debuffer and support class. Disarm, detect stun, which that's kind of strange to me, but okay. Jump to ally. This is really important because you have heal drones. You want to get to your ally, heal them up. You want to disarm the opponent. That way your ally can just start lobbing shots into him. Your blasters are going into him. Meanwhile, you're healing your guy, and that's super important. So, yeah, whole lot of fun there. You also get disruptors from the look of it, but nah. Alright. This was the first ship I actually played around with because, you know, I see the word hunter and I'm automatically, oh, I gotta play that shit. Now this is a class that they've been doing a lot of fleshing out. As you can see, they've been expanding the tree a hell of a lot more than they did the other ones. Mind you, none of these are available yet, but they're there. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about what we have here. Cannon. Pretty much it's an up-close and personal shooting weapon. pretty much it's boom, 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 boom. Faster cannons, boom, 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 boom. Heavier cannon, boom, 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 boom. All right. By the way, the noise level there is to signify damage. All right. Blink. Yes, this one does have a blinking option to get you closer to targets or whatnot. It's never meant to actually be kind of like an ambushing tool like you have with the assassin. This is more of a, haha, you can't catch me. It's a survival tool. You could use this to get out of arc of fire and then retarget your opponents and just lay hell on them. All right. Missiles, standard for like every class, and ironically the main damage dealing component for this. Detect allows you to catch, you know, stuff like that. All right, leech drones. Hi, I suck your life away. Have a nice day. These guys are really kind of important, especially in the range battles. You let your drones deal with them. Those flat cannons, however, can tear them apart. Nifty. All right, so the last ship we have available right now is the Frigate. Now, when I took a look at the Frigate, I looked at its stats. Well, the offense isn't all that great. The defense is absolutely ungodly shit. And then I looked at the mobility, and I'm like, oh, okay. So this guy sacrifices his attack, most of his attack and a whole bunch of his defense just to be super fast. And I do mean super fast. It's the most nimble mobile class in this game. His primary role is capturing resource points. He's literally going from mining station to base to base to base and getting there. However, in combat, how he works is a close-in weapon specialist. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, kind of think of a rogue. All right, they're super fast, really hard to catch, but up close and personal, they're just going to make you bleed to death. The multi-shot, I've been playing around with a lot. It's really kind of nifty. Scalpel beam, less shots you get for it, but the damage is increased. Taser, laser, however, is not implemented in the game yet, so I can't really tell you on that one. Screen, this is a defensive option, and it's really cool. Because you have shit defense, you're going to need something to survive the incoming fire. So if you know you're about to go into combat with something and they're going to be hitting you, you hit screen. This puts up a nice little force field and, you know, blocks a lot of shit. It will go away. Proximity mines. This thing actually works in two different ways, and I love it about this. This is why the Frigate is my favorite class. So you basically could shoot mines out that you could direct. You can literally shoot them wherever you want, and that's cool. That means you can set up, like, you know, areas to where, you know, they're going to have to go around stuff. You can kind of fortify certain things, whatever. But what I really like doing is getting really close to the enemy using my awesome speed, and then firing my multi-shot, firing proximity mines, and firing missiles at the same time. What this ends up doing is a huge burst of damage. The only thing I think that can do this much damage in one salvo is the rail cannon. It will actually shred apart a lot of things. Now, missiles, we have a bunch of options, unlike all the other classes here. Kingfisher missile. This shoots up like 6 total missiles that break open out of their shell, and a bunch of other little smaller missiles go and attack from it. It's really nifty. It's a shorter range version of these missiles, but the damage is increased. Since most of the stuff you're going to be doing anyway is going to be at up close, this is a really good option. The Skyua torpedo, I think, is like a single shot, long range attack. I have no idea on this one, though. This might be one of these things that, you know, grows in damage the more it travels and can, like, lay a devastating hit. So, unsure on that one yet. But if that's the case, then cool. I'll never use it, but cool. All right, detector drone. This shoots out and creates a huge dome of influence that basically can detect any stealth ships in the area. This has saved my ass several times. All right. I've seen people go into stealth that I've been engaging, and they were going to spin around. I fired the detector drone. Boom, they're out of stealth. Bam, 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 done. All right, stealth ships generally don't have the best defenses, so if you can exploit that, do it. So that's the 6 classes they have available right now. However, I was looking around, And you'll notice that there's other ships that they're looking to make. All right, in different tiers. So obviously there's going to be a tier 3 and a tier 4. It's kind of cool. Obviously they have no plans for another carrier type thing, but other classes available. Okay. But then you go to some of these other ones and, oh look, here's another carrier, here's a destroyer, here's a slayer, corvette, which is probably going to be a really fast gunship, a gunner, which is probably going to be a really heavy gun thing, and a raider is probably going to be a combination of gunner slash corvette, super fast, light weapons, but shitty fucking armament. So that's going to be really cool. The game overall is a great game. It does need a lot of work. It needs a lot of polish. It needs a lot more dev time to it. But if you're looking to try out something new and see where it goes, then this is definitely something. All right, it's $10 on Steam. If you ain't got $10, then well, I feel kind of bad for you. But it's definitely worth it. It's something that I really support. The devs are very interactive with the community, which is something we don't generally see from a lot of games. So I'm really happy about that. I can't wait to see what else they're going to give us. Right now, the one standard map is very boring, mostly because I played it a bunch. But in the future, I could see a whole bunch of different maps with different kinds of environments to it, like floating ice crystals or who knows. I mean, there's lots of things, gaseous nebula clouds and things of that nature where it's very hard to see your target until you're right on top of them. This is going to make stealth and a lot of things like really OP. So who knows? We'll see. It's got a lot of potential and I can't wait to see it. Plus, you know, if you're a sci-fi geek like myself, being able to kind of like relive Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica giant fleet battles is fucking amazing. All right? Such a great game. Anyway, thank you very much for my little 2 cents on this game. Please check this out. It's worth the $10. Later.